One of my friends is sleeping with his sister and I know about it. So I met this friend, let's call him Mark. He and I were in the military together and we became very close friends. I knew Mark had issues such as self-esteem and inner demons. We found common ground together as I had my own demons. One day, I met up with him at a seaside park, a place he often frequented alone in the middle of the night. Yes, that sounds weird, I know. This was his area that he could channel his inner raw emotions and decided to tell me the guilt that he was carrying. When he was 16, he was often bullied and he had absolutely no friends. During this time, unbeknownst to everyone around him, he was struggling with his sexual orientation. In his terms, he was confused. Coming from an Asian family in a region where homosexuality isn't viewed well, I know it will be rough. He decided to take a leap of faith and confided into his sister. He told her his worries and ending with it, he requested her to kiss him to find out whether he was straight or gay. His sister, let's call her Lydia, was flabbergasted at first and refused initially but later decided to accept it. According to him, they kissed and more stuff happened that eventually led to him sleeping with her. Upon doing the deed, he felt guilty to his family and the sin he's done. He asked me for advice and in all honesty, I wished I answered differently but in my view, this threw me off hard. I replied to him, bro, that's really F*** ket up. But you should try to find somewhere in your heart to forgive yourself and be happy. He didn't reply then. And soon after we ended our time with the military, he and I would go for drinks on and off the next year or so. One day, he seemed in a generally better mood than I've ever seen him in my entire life. He told me he's fallen in love with Lydia, his older sister, and before I could reply he told me that I advised him to let go of that guilt and try to be happy. So this is honestly absolutely mental. Instead of being in absolute disgust and shock, I wanted to find out what changed in this relationship. So according to him, after he and his sister did the deed, his sister blackmailed him that if he doesn't do what she says she will tell the family that he forced himself on her. So he complied, and ended up being her own personal sex toy. Somewhere in this, I assume, B developed some sort of Stockholm syndrome and genuinely fell in love with his sister and now beds her behind everyone's back. After he told me a lot of very explicit details that he's done with her along with showing me graphic images of them getting on, I blanked out and blamed myself that if I did not tell him those words, maybe just maybe he wouldn't have gone down this seriously fucked up path. Occasionally I still talk to him because to be honest, I felt if I could get away from him, maybe I don't have to hear more cursed shit. I've met Lydia in person before and she seemed nice to me, but based from what Mark has told me, Lydia has been in very abusive past relationships, often resulting with bruises on her face. Which made me think that she wanted control in a relationship, so hence her brother was the subject. Honestly, after all these years of keeping this secret, it really fucked with me. Commenter 1. They both need psychological help. Not because of the incest, actually, I'll explain in a minute. But she blackmailed him to get him to keep doing it. She seems to be the one who wants it, and blackmailing someone is narcissistic and abusive. The brother, on the other hand, seemed to want to stop. The threats are what keeps it going. Stockholm syndrome when he changed his mind and actually started feeling romantic feelings for her and continued of his own choice. Back to the incest. Aside from the obvious genetics that would affect any children that could come as a product of the relationship, there's nothing in nature that says it couldn't or doesn't happen. The knee-jerk, abhorrent reaction to incestuous relationships is more of a social conditioning. I'm not condoning it, just saying what I know of it. It still grossed me out when I found out the hot guy I was making out with in the woods was a distant cousin. I was 15, camping family reunion, there were people camping that weren't there for the reunion. I had zero clue until we were officially introduced at dinner. He tried to get me to make out again, and I almost puked on him. Then there's the chance that siblings are separated young / at birth, didn't grow up together and don't have that sibling bond. I read a story once about a couple that didn't find out they were siblings until they had been married and had 2 kids for years. The husband had been put up for adoption and the wife never knew that she had an older brother. Mom never said, died before the sibling / couple met. Commenter 2. After 23 years of life, I have discovered I come from this type of family. A lot of early childhood memories make sense now. Think of playing house, but no penetration. I literally don't drink around family anymore cause some of the comments I get from the women lead me to believe they'd try to take advantage of me if I was knocked out. Too many men and women like that in my fam to count. I often question why my parents hid this stuff from their kids. I question why they let any family around. Both families are bad. Knowing what they knew, I have heard of moms trying to get with their sons from the sons themselves, my cousins. Cousins getting with cousins and OFC sisters and brothers getting together too. It was so bad I thought every family was like mine. It was only when I left home I learned. At the same time, I have learned why so many high-profile people can get away with s/. I remember going online and speaking on it publicly only to be told to shut up, basically. OFC I started trauma dumping instead. I told so much online partially to spite my fam and partially because I had nowhere and no one to talk about it with. I am not surrounded by loved ones and kinda don't care to value that stuff anymore. I did try to speak with it to PPL I trusted a few years ago, but they literally made jokes about it and didn't stop even when I made it clear I didn't think it was funny. The only reason I did not fight them on the spot was because we were in someone else's house in an upper-class area. I just post stuff online now when I need to get something off my chest and dust my hands of the matter. I am not sure it helps, but I would rather die alone than ever experience opening up again. OFC PPL will be on some hopeful sure like you. No offense / I'm not mad or anything. It is in our nature to at least try to look at the positive side of things. And tell me maybe I'll find those PPL one day. I don't care to. I've experienced enough of humanity to want no parts of it. I hope I die before 30 so I can finally get some peace. Commenter 3. I'm so sorry, man. It must be so hard to grow up in such a family. I hope you are surrounded by loved ones now who don't judge you for what you went through as a child. People often forget how hard it is for someone to speak up about this. It's just not as simple as saying, my family was XX. I hope you have someone to speak to about all this and that they're helping you get over and move on from your family. It's hard to imagine, but people are real assholes. Even to victims. This was for the people who think speaking up about trauma, especially sexual ones, is simple. Please seek professional mental health for your trauma. I would hate for you to die before 30. Use 988 hashtag. The world is a better place with you in it. There are people, professionals, out there who can help you deal with what you went through. I'm not saying the feelings won't go away, but you will learn how to manage to deal with the pain. My stepdaughter was raped by my wife's ex-husband. From 13 years to 15 years old. He groomed her for many years. Fooled everyone. So I do know somewhat what I'm talking about. Please, talk to a professional or someone you trust. Edit. I know some of you guys would think this is some sort of sexual fantasy and a piece of fiction. As much as I wish this was some sick fantasy. I understand the reasoning behind this. Because it's not normal to sleep with your sibling. It's absolutely abnormal. I question myself a lot on why I had to be the one to hear this. While some of you mention there was nothing I could have done to prevent this, I feel that I bear some sort of blame. And honestly, the reason why I did this on Confessions is simply maybe by letting this out. I can let go of this baggage. To clarify certain things. This family, they don't have any step-siblings. I know it just ruined quite a few people's wet dreams. However, based on what I know, their family, like many traditional Asian families, they are very strict and have a very suffocating atmosphere. Lydia wasn't around a lot. She would try to get away from the house as much as possible, and Mark did not see her a lot.